From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, June 7th. Some isolated scattered shower potential remains through the morning hours, but it's not great and won't give us nearly as much as we really need. And then that's going to get out of here with zero rain chances for later. There will be some cloud cover and decreasing through the second half of our Wednesday. Highs are expected to be cooler with numbers only in the upper 70s for our high. Police say a man is dead after a shooting at an East Side apartment complex. It happened just before midnight at the Reserves at Warren Park on 10th Street. According to police, officers found the victim dead in the hallway. Police say he did not live in the apartments, and they believe the shooter targeted him. No word on any suspects yet. A high school graduation turns deadly in Virginia after police say a gunman opened fire on the crowd. The mass shooting left 2 people dead and 5 others injured. According to police, it happened in Richmond's Monroe Park after Huguenot High School's graduation ceremony. They say 3 off-duty officers were working security and heard the gunshots. An 18-year-old man who had just graduated and a 36-year-old man were killed in the shooting. 5 other people, a 14-year-old boy and 4 men between the ages of 31 and 58 were also shot. Police say 4 of them have non-life-threatening injuries. A 9-year-old girl was also hit by a car while trying to escape the shooting, but she's said to survive. Police say a 19-year-old man who ran from the scene is now in custody in connection with the shooting. Police say they think the man in custody knew at least one of the victims. Officers also recovered 4 guns at the scene, but one was not related to the shooting. According to the Gun Violence Archive, this is the 279th mass shooting this year. And gun violence reached record levels in 2021. That's according to a new report from the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. It found both gun-related homicides and suicides in 2021 led to nearly 49,000 deaths. And the report also shows that gun-related deaths increased by 8% from 2020 to 2021. That's the largest single-year increase in 4 decades. It also says guns are the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the United States. Indianapolis City County Council members believe a new hotel at Pan Am Plaza can help the city join the ranks of the top host cities in the nation. As we've reported, the council approved the proposal to obtain the needed $625 million bond on Monday. Kite Realty Group had wanted to privately fund the project but couldn't secure funding. Councilors passed the proposal for the city to take over the project with a 20-5 vote. The 800-room 4-star hotel is set to be built across the street from the convention center. And a new campaign is lifting up the Hispanic community this Pride Month. It's called Generación Orgullo, or Pride Generations. Indy Pride Vice President of Community says a lot of Hispanic LGBTQ plus community members have struggled with balancing religion and their identity. He says this campaign focuses on growth and their ongoing fight for equality. Indy Pride is hosting the event on June 24th at the Vogue Theater.
That's why today, before God and my family, I'm announcing I'm running for President of the United States.
This morning, former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence formally launched his bid for the White House. Pence is now set to speak to supporters in Iowa, home of the first-in-the-nation caucuses. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist is following the campaign from Des Moines.
Let's give you an idea of the enormity of the task facing Pence. This map of the state of Iowa is on the grounds of the state capitol. Pence plans to visit all 99 counties in the state. He joins an already crowded Republican field, which includes, among others, his old boss, former President Donald Trump. Pence will kick off his campaign in Des Moines around midday. Campaign officials tell me he will meet with supporters beforehand. He's no stranger to voters here in the Hawkeye State. He just made an appearance at Iowa Senator Joni Ernst's Roast and Ride event on Saturday. This comes just days after the Department of Justice announced it will not prosecute Pence for classified documents that were found in his home in Hamilton County. Pence will have to win over a deeply skeptical voting population. Trump and his supporters have loudly criticized Pence for his refusal to try to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Pence has said he thinks Republican voters are ready to move on. We'll have coverage of Pence's announcement all throughout the day today. We will carry his official announcement live here on Wish TV and on Indiana's only statewide TV news network. That will be at 1 o'clock this afternoon. In Des Moines, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Chris Christie is now part of the crowded field of candidates vying for the Republican nomination for president. Christie officially announced his campaign last night during a town hall in New Hampshire. He spent most of the night going after former President Donald Trump, at one point calling him a lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog. Christie believes he is the only candidate capable of stopping Trump. As we've reported, Christie previously ran for presidency in 2016 when he eventually did lose to the former president. And today, a grand jury in Florida is set to hear testimony about the potential mishandling of classified documents by former President Trump. That's according to reports from the AP and CNN. The grand jury is in addition to a separate panel that's been meeting in Washington for months to consider charges. This suggests prosecutors could be considering charges in Florida as well. CNN reports the Florida grand jury has already heard testimony from multiple witnesses. One witness is set to appear today, with the grand jury hearing from at least one additional witness after that. The state of Florida is now taking credit for 2 migrant flights that landed in Sacramento, California. The 36 migrants arrived on flights Monday and last Friday. Officials say they're mainly from Colombia and Venezuela and were picked up in El Paso, Texas, driven across the border into New Mexico, where they boarded the planes. The Florida Division of Emergency Management says every person volunteered to go to California through verbal and written consent. The mayor of Sacramento says he condemns how the migrants who are seeking asylum arrived. El Paso's mayor says no one consulted them before the migrants were taken and moved. Another issue is that most of the immigration hearings are happening in Colorado, New York, and Utah. Organizers for a new Juneteenth exhibit at the Indie Global Village says it helps build on their year-round work of sharing global cultures. The new exhibit is a timeline showcasing Black American history from the late 1800s to modern day. It features key historical figures and their stories, along with multiple artifacts on display. The curator says it was key to include artifacts of the good and bad moments in history to give visitors a full understanding of Black American history. He went on to say that the exhibit will continuously evolve with new elements soon to be added to showcase the music and those who've died without justice. Indianapolis Indians fans have a new name to get used to. Catcher Henry Davis made his debut for the team last night. Davis was the number 1 overall pick in the 2021 MLB draft for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's just the 4th number 1 overall pick to play for the Indians and the first since current Yankees pitcher Garrett Cole in 2016. Davis went 0 for 2 in 4 at-bats, finishing with a walk, a sacrifice, bunt, and a strikeout. You could see him on the field again today. The Indians play at 1:30 this afternoon. And a new study suggests putting more electric cars on the road could save thousands of lives over the next few decades. The American Lung Association released a new report on the health benefits of zero-emission vehicles yesterday. The report says if the switch was made, 89,000 premature deaths and millions of asthma attacks would be prevented. It also says that to see the full benefit to public health, more green energy sources would need to be used. And to business headlines, hundreds of thousands of UPS workers this week could authorize a strike that will bring the world's biggest package courier to a standstill. Of course, this comes as Americans become more reliant on delivery. A nationwide UPS strike would be the largest work stoppage in U.S. history. Results would be announced on June 16th. There were 54 corporate bankruptcies in the U.S. in May, bringing this year's total to 286, according to new data from S&P Global Market Intelligence. That's the highest number of U.S. corporate bankruptcies recorded for the first 5 months of the year since 2010. This year's bankruptcies include Party City, Serta Simmons, and the parent of Silicon Valley Bank. The U.S. is said to be in a cardboard recession. In other words, the demand for cardboard boxes is down, and that has preceded recessions in the past. A downturn could mean a drop in inflation. Salesforce tells employees it will donate $10 a day to charity if they come back to the office. Salesforce co-CEO Mark Benioff has complained about loss of office culture due to working from home. Finally, Grimace is being celebrated at McDonald's with a special birthday meal for kids. USA Today reports it will be topped off by a new purple milkshake. It's all part of a Grimace birthday celebration beginning June 12th, which includes a limited edition Grimace birthday meal, which comes with either a Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets and fries. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.